What is up, everybody? Divine Hood here, coming at you with another daily update on Bitcoin and the crypto markets. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Samuel S., good afternoon to you as well. Thank you for being here and thank you for modding. Time Attack, much love to you. Thank you for smashing the like button on your way in. And yes, it is a blessing from the Lord today just to be here. So thank you so much for that, Time Attack. Thank you for modding as well. Yes, Schwant, much love to you. Thank you for always tuning in from India. It's great to see you as always. Patrick Schooner, what's up, man? How you doing? Not quicker. Okay, unhinge the squiggly lines. Here you go. That's the squiggly line we drew a couple weeks ago or a week ago. So hopefully now Bitcoin will pump. We are at golden pocket support, but guys, breaking this channel down is not a good thing, and we really do need to watch for a bigger dump coming in the next coming days. There is one possibility of a double zigzag in here that we could be bouncing from that golden pocket and seeing a move to make new highs. But in my estimation, it's a lower probability to play out. And I do think eventually we are going to come take out those 59K lows. I described that in yesterday's video. Actually, all week long, we've been talking about that. Even last week, we were talking about the possibility of a move up to the top of the channel. But then after that, the dump coming in. So kind of to be expected here, but welcome in, not quicker. Great to see you in here as always. Yeah, first legal U-turn. We need that legal U-turn. Crypto Wanderer 5813, thank you for smashing the like button. Much love to you guys. And yeah, let's see here. Time Attack, thank you for smashing the like button so hard that you're not on the FBI most wanted list, because that's a good thing. You don't want to be there. R Pink, love you as always. Thank you for being here. Thank you for modding, and thank you for doing always such a good job of it, man. It's great to see you. And let's see, Dylan Wadia, good to see you. Let's go. Yep. And Jose, blessings to you as well. Ruda Mouth, always tuning in. You usually get on the TV, usually great breakdowns. Thank you, Ruda Mouth. I appreciate that comment, man. Yeah, so guys, really, we were rejecting from our purple box of resistance. We were expecting this rejection here at that general area between the 382 and the 0.5 fib. And you can see here on my charts, I have that wave 4 on the higher time frames. Let me just zoom out to the daily time frame. So we're looking for this impulse from 83K pretty much to come down and finish. And in my opinion, obviously this dump from 77 down to 59 was a third wave. We had a very large increase in volume, and we were looking over the next couple of weeks. And if you go back and watch my video from this day, I said this corrective move could take 2 to 3 weeks to play out, but we want to see that zigzag correction coming up between the 382 and the 0.5 Fibonacci. And from there, we want to see that harsh rejection and a big dump to come into the downside. And what was key is to maintain key for the bulls would be to maintain kind of this channel structure and see a double 1-2 come in. And then, you could get some more upside and potentially invalidate the larger impulse to the downside. But we are breaking right now with volume today. We are breaking that channel to the downside. And I have to say, I did take a loss earlier today. I've only attempted one trade today on Bitcoin. And it was a loss because I attempted to long that naked weekly point of control as we were chopping down into this support level here. We did have some bull divs on the chart, and we were coming into that support. But if we look at, let's zoom in onto like the 30-minute chart. What I didn't like about this chop that we saw, first off, from yesterday's lows, we bounced at the value area high of the range. So you can see our value area high of our 3-week long range, 3-week long range is now shifted up to around $64,300. But if we take this value area high and we shift it back to yesterday, you can see that we were bouncing at the value area high of the range. And this was also our local 886 Fibonacci, which does give us reactions in sideways ranges. But after just seeing that kind of dead cat bounce up to the VWAP, you reject, and overnight we come down and we make new lows. Now, what was super important about this low that was made last night, and I was not awake for this, but if you look at this low, it was pretty much a double bottom again. Yes, it did take it out. Barely took it out, and we did hit the bottom of the channel with that low. But when you see a swing failure pattern, you generally want to see a bit of a wick. Like, say this was the low here, Let's just give an example of what a good swing failure pattern. Say that was the low, and then you come down and you wick that low by a couple hundred, a few $100, and it stops out those stop losses that leave a little bit of breathing room underneath, and then it gets the move up. So when we see a very shallow swing failure pattern like this, and also some of the exchanges didn't take that low. It was a mixture of some exchanges taking it, some exchanges not. And generally when you see that, it is a trap. It is a failed trap. And so once again, we just continue to kind of grind in this market structure, this bearish market structure. And then we see the big dump to the downside. We lost the VWAP. We back tested it after hitting the bottom of the channel. We back tested that VWAP, and then we come down. And what I was not liking, and I was keeping you guys updated in the Telegram all morning long, but as we were coming down, we just kept front running that naked weekly point of control, just barely. Let's throw that on the chart. Let's go down to the 12-minute chart. And you can see here as we were coming down into this, and actually I'll go to the 5-minute chart because I was looking on the 5-minute chart. We kept seeing this in here this morning. I'm going to hide this volume profile and I will put on our naked weekly point of control on the chart. We had a naked weekly point of control at 63.5. And we had a weekly at 63.3. But you can see we came down. We had another very, very shallow SFP. And this SFP, actually, all the exchanges got it. So they all got that low from Sunday, the weekend lows, from our weekend lows on June 14th. But because we had already had this very shallow SFP, it was less likely to play out. So we got a little bit of a move. We got an SFP, but we pushed up. Now, in the Telegram, I let you guys know, as soon as we rejected from this VWAP with a harsh rejection, I said, guys, we're seeing a harsh rejection from the VWAP. I expect us to come down and make another new local low on the day to take out that local low on the day. So we did see that. We did see that move down. And then look at, we hit the naked weekly point of control, and upon hitting that naked weekly point of control, we had some bull divs on the chart, and even on like the 15-minute chart, we had some bull divs that were forming. You can see even on Market Cipher, we had some bull divs forming, and locally bull divs forming. So I did take a long on hitting that naked weekly point of control in here. It got stopped out very, very quickly. And what I told you guys in the Telegram this morning was that, yes, I am longing this naked weekly point of control. My stop loss is going to go below the weekly level. So I had calculated my position size for a long from this area with my stop below the weekly. And I was really targeting a lower high, but I wanted to at least come grab these highs at 64.7. So I was looking at that as a potential TP1 on a scalp trade. And then, like I described yesterday, if we really make it up to our golden pocket, then that 65.8 level is the big resistance, in my opinion, that we had to break above in order to get really bullish. So I was always planning to take this as a scalp where I would take profit at a lower high. But that scalp trade only lasted about 10, 15 minutes before I was stopped out. Once I was stopped out, I said, okay, guys, I'm not attempting another long until we reclaim, because what happened is we came down. We had wicked past the weekly, and then we started to come up again. And you can see we started to come up on this candle, on this 5-minute candle. We then bearishly backtested the naked weekly point of control here. And I said, I'm not going to take a long until we can break back above the naked weekly. And we were not able to do that. So no long opportunity was triggered. And then we broke down again. We hit the anchored VWAP. Once we bounced from the anchored VWAP, we flipped the weekly to resistance. And these are low time frame flips from support into resistance. And then once we flip the weekly into resistance, we get the big dump that goes down to today's lows. And again, guys, we keep seeing these front runs. It's like these bigger players are putting front runs. Like you could see, that's just barely front run by a few dollars, maybe $50, $60, 62.212 when our golden pocket was at like 62.200. And we get a little bit of a move up, then we come down, we SFP that low and actually hit our macro golden pocket. And from that hit of the macro golden pocket, we are seeing a little bit of a move up here, and we're breaking local market structure bullishly, 5-minute market structure. By taking out this high, we have now broken some market structure bullishly. So what does this mean right now for us trading wise? Well, we could be looking for this bottoming reversal pattern. So if we come down towards our golden pocket area, We could look for a scalp long opportunity, but here's the thing, guys. We could be in a dump in a wave 3. And I want to zoom out now to the 1 hour chart. And I want to talk about, because once we lost this channel, here's another thing, guys. You could see on our channel, we closed the hourly candle just below the channel support. The very next hourly candles when you see the big dump. And I did warn about this in the Telegram as well. Watch out, because we're starting to lose the channel, and this dump could get aggressive. And that's exactly what we saw. Once we actually lost the channel, that's when your big dump got aggressive to the downside. Now we are hitting our golden pocket support, 62,202, let's say. So this was front run by $10. But this golden pocket is pulled from the lows at 59K up to our highs at 67K. It is a decent level of support. We did have some internal liquidity from this imbalance that was right there as well. You can see that liquidity right into the golden pocket, but we're losing our channel, and we lost our channel on an imbalance candle with a high amount of volume. If we turn on our volume, you can see the big spikes, the increase in volume on the dump to the downside today, meaning that this is a strong, healthy move to the downside, and we got to be very careful for continuation happening. So another key thing to think about, your anchored VWAP is your volume-based trend support, right? It's based off the volume, not necessarily the price. So with an anchored VWAP, if we're in an overall uptrend and you come down to that anchored VWAP, you generally want to hold that anchored VWAP, and then if you do, you will continue that uptrend. But if you break below it, especially with a big volume imbalance candle, then now that anchored VWAP could turn into resistance, just like the weekly earlier today turned into resistance, just like the naked weekly earlier today turned into resistance. It could be another low time frame intraday resistance now, where if we come up to that 63,100 to 63,150, it could make us continue down here. So and then we could keep breaking down to the next big support level. Now you can see I have a new green box on the chart, and I want to just talk about this green box here, because if we pull our volume profile of this local range of the past few weeks, you can see the value area low is at the top of the box. That's going to be coming in right around $61,000. We have our 786 Fibonacci that is going to be coming in around 60,800. And then, of course, when you break a channel, guys, we have these channels. When you break a channel structure, you'll often sweep the liquidity trail of the entire channel, usually of the entire channel, but sometimes you will just sweep it to the second pivot of the channel. So we have that second pivot of our channel coming in right at $60,700. Well, what else was below there that earlier this last week we had front run? We had front run a naked daily point of control that was just below that channel at $60,600. And remember, this day here, I was looking for this potentially to come down and double bottom here into that naked daily point of control. So we have a major cluster of support between $61,000 and $60,600, this $400 range in here. Now, once again, if we do bounce from this box, I will attempt a long if we see confirmations on the chart. But the long trade will be a trade with the mindset of taking profit at a lower high. So if we're seeing some 1-2s, this is our big third wave that keeps dumping us down to here. We're going to be expecting a fourth wave bounce, and we're going to be looking for that zigzag correction up towards the 382 0.5 Fibonacci. So I'll attempt a long here, but I am going to be taking profit on lower highs, especially if we come back up to this POC here. I would definitely be looking to take some profit and potentially flip short to come down to 57.9K, or at least to take out your 59K lows. And then it is Thursday. We are kind of going into, I don't know if it's necessarily a holiday weekend, but it's Father's Day weekend. So a lot of people aren't going to be paying attention to the charts as much tomorrow and throughout the weekend. So we could form a bit of a range and a bit of a low grindy structure to the upside over the weekend, where we could reject from that anchored VWAP, or where we could reject from that POC in order to come down. If we look at from the high, these internal highs from yesterday. Now, I know the Wednesday highs are up here, but that was from the FOMC meeting. After the FOMC meeting dump, we had a little bit of a dead cat bounce. And this is kind of where our local bearish market structure really starts to get consolidative before the breakdown. So if we pull a Fibonacci retracement from that high to the low that we just made today, and we look at the 382, the 382 acts as strong support or strong resistance in a strong trend. And you can see here that 382 is coming in right pretty much where that anchored VWAP is. So at around 63,150 to around 63,100, if we do come up there with some low time frame bear divs at the same time on the 1 hour, 4 hour, our money flow is still aggressively leaving, then we could potentially attempt to short to bring down to the next major support level. And of course, you would have to make sure you're using proper risk management. You would want to wait for that rejection at the 382. And then once you start to lose the anchored VWAP, that is when you could enter the short. And then even taking out the lows would be a TP1. And then you could leave some open to the next big support level. And that could give you a good scalp to scalp the trend, right? The trend is your friend until the end. And the trend right now is bearish. And yes, thank you, Jonah. The tomorrow is also a holiday, guys. It's Juneteenth. So today is like the final day of the trading week. So knowing that over the holiday weekend with Father's Day and with Juneteenth, we will have the markets closed. We might expect some consolidation in this area down near this macro golden pocket. Or what we're going to see over the weekend is that slow corrective grindy range where we do come up and backtest the POC, or we're going to see that slow grindy range where we backtest the channel that we broke down from, which would also be our value area high. And if we do reject there, then you would expect to move down to value area low, which is where our next support box is. So we do have some local trades to be expecting on Bitcoin. We can look at these local trade setups on Bitcoin and we can play these local trade setups. But remember, our higher time frame bias, or my higher time frame bias, I should say, is I've always been expecting a rejection from this area and then an impulse to the downside to take out our 59K lows to finish our fifth and final wave to the downside. Now, when we finish that fifth and final wave to the downside, the next big macro low that we put in on the charts could be a nice swing long opportunity. But we need this to calm down. We need this to start seeing. And by the way, guys, with this, what we're seeing right now with this chop, and I know that we did grab some liquidity yesterday with the FOMC meeting. We technically saw a little bit of a bullish market structure break by breaking above these triangle highs. But we have to remember this was on news volatility. Overall, our trend has been making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. And then, yes, this is a little bit of a deviation because of news, but lower lows, lower highs, the trend is still bearish. But we have that chop, and I showed you guys this in yesterday's video. If you guys didn't look at yesterday's video, within this chop right here, we were forming a descending channel. And what I said is we have to watch out for the 1-2s coming in this descending channel. And then if it breaks down, we see that big 3 come into the downside. And then we get some 4-5s coming in where ultimately you're looking to take out your 59K lows. And this would be that multiple 1-2 impulse to the downside because we're looking for an impulsive structure or a motive wave structure to the downside from the rejection at 67K down to take out your 59K lows. And if we look at that channel, let me just go ahead and throw that channel on the chart. This is the channel we were watching all morning. And by the way, in yesterday's video, we had started to lose that channel. And I talked to you guys in the video about watch for now bearishly backtesting that channel. And if you reject, you expect a new low. And if you go watch yesterday's video, I said this before we actually did it. But what happened after seeing that bounce from the value area high? Remember yesterday, that's where our value area high of our 3-week long range was. We bounced from the value area high. We bounced from the 886. After bouncing from that zone, we get a small corrective grindy move. And if we zoom in on like the 15-minute chart, you can see very clearly that this is a corrective move in here. And then we reject from that channel on the bearish backtest, and then you get a dump to the downside. And this is a little bit, you have to zoom in quite a bit to count this, but you can see that even the dump, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you get a 5-wave move to the downside. So corrective moves up, impulsive moves down. But we started to chop. You can see this is where we lost our upper channel. I'm going to call this the 1-2s channel, right? It's where we're building our 1-2s for an impulse to the downside. We lose it, and then we consolidate in here. We kind of consolidate in a triangle in some ways, and you can see how we kept rejecting the upper channel, but we kept bouncing from the bottom of the lower channel, the bottom of our larger ascending channel. That's been the channel that's been developing the corrective channel over the past 3 weeks. And what happened is we finally just were not able to hold it. And in this area is where all the shenanigans was happening this morning, guys. We saw, this was a little bit after market open, but we saw a bunch of long stepping in here. And on those long positions, we saw a bunch of long stepping in before we actually hit the naked weekly point of control. We saw the long stepping in on the double bottom of the weekend low, of this weekend low from June 14th, where yes, Coinbase SFP'd it yesterday, but some of the other exchanges didn't. And right here, after we SFP'd that today, we saw a bunch of shenanigans and long stepping in here, but we didn't have a clean, nice, clean SFP that wicked far enough to stop out those stops. And also, we didn't hit that naked weekly point of control. And when you front run like that, you know, it's not a good thing. And I told you guys even this morning when I longed it, I said, I'm long, but I do not like the way this looks and it doesn't look good. And honestly, I'm probably going to lose this trade. And sure enough, I did. You know, it was worth an attempt to me because we did see some bull divs on the chart. But, and I told you guys that if we saw bull divs as we came down to the bottom of the channel, I would attempt it because there was a bullish scenario. But it didn't happen, you know, when we crashed down. Now, let's talk about a potential bullish scenario, a potential more bullish scenario. Let me go ahead and hide this descending channel that we broke down from. Oh, by the way, you can see here where the descending channel broke down and then we, you know, back test, real rejection. Well, if we have this 3-wave grindy move over the weekend to backtest our larger ascending channel, it's also going to be potentially the backtest of the descending channel. And then that's when you could see a big rejection to the downside. So that is coming in right around $64,000. $64,063.5 is going to be our point of control of the range. So between like $63,500 and $64,000 is going to be, actually our point of controls dropped a little bit more now. It's closer to, yeah, $63,500-ish. But we have to watch out. And this could even be a little bit quicker here where we see something a little bit quicker and then dump. Yeah, so we have to watch kind of for that zone around $63,500 to $64,000 for a potential rejection. But in a bullish case scenario, so let's talk about a bullish case scenario. We are bouncing from our macro golden pocket. Now, this is a good support, and technically overall on the higher time frames, let's go to like the daily time frame, we still are in local bullish market structure on the daily time frame. We have our low, we have our high because we broke some daily highs in here. We have our higher low, we have our higher high, and if we come down, even though we're breaking the channel, this is our macro golden pocket, we could still put in a higher low and then push up to make new highs. Now, in that scenario, I would be looking for a push up to backtest around 68,000, 68,500, and then potentially a drop. But then that means that this move down would have to be corrective. So let's zoom in here onto the 4-hour chart, that this move down from 67,200-ish has to be a corrective move to the downside. And if we look at this move, is it more probable that it's some 1-2s that we're stacking up? You know, some 1-2s that we're stacking up, and then we're getting in this big third wave now, followed by some 4-5s. That means it would be impulsive. That would be bad for the bulls. But if we're looking for the bullish scenario for the bears to lose, a golden pocket support is a nice support level where you would expect some bulls to step in and defend that position. So could we look at this as some sort of corrective move? And yes, there is a way to look at this as a double zigzag. So in a double zigzag corrective move in a Elliott waves, you generally see a 3-wave correction down, followed by one big move to the upside, and then another 3-wave correction down. It's a 7-wave count with a zigzag, a correction, and then another zigzag. Now, this also can have a very small zigzag in it, but we're looking for that kind of 7-wave move to the downside. So if we're looking at this move here, there is a valid count of a zigzag down here, followed by that nice big corrective move here. By the way, that did, take some liquidity and broke a little bit of market structure. And then we could be seeing another zigzag right now into that golden pocket. And so there is one scenario, it's less likely in my opinion, it's the less likely scenario, but there is one scenario where we could boost up and take out the highs at $67,300 or what are those? 267.3. So if that's the case, we should still be looking for longs, because remember, we're counter trend trading our own bias in some ways. Because we don't want to have a bias, an emotional bias that's going to stop us from taking trades. So you want to be able, even though my larger bias is that we are going to dump down to take out our 59K lows, I am going to counter trend trade my own bias to hedge myself, just in case I am wrong. That's why I attempted a long at the naked weekly point of control earlier today. But now we can be looking at the long from this golden pocket. And if we just zoom in on the 5-minute chart here, man, I would have liked to come down a little bit lower. I was looking at that potential left shoulder, head, right shoulder, where we could get that bottoming reversal pattern, right? A low time frame bottoming reversal pattern, where we then could see a move up, even if it's just a scalp trade at first, and we'll leave some open for a bigger long trade. One thing I don't like, though, is how we are not hitting near our golden pocket. If we pull that golden pocket from the lows to the highs here, and we turn on that golden pocket, we didn't come down to the golden pocket. And really what would be even better is to come down to your 786, because it would be in more alignment with this left shoulder here. You could see that. Unfortunately, that's not happening. So we do have our lows on the day, finally hitting into the 618, because this front ran the 618. Now we need to be watching from those lows for a corrective move. And if we do reject, guys, I am potentially during this stream looking for a potential short from 63,150, where that 382 Fibonacci is. Because if we come down, or if we get up higher, I'll be looking for that short from the back test of the channel, the golden pocket area. And your POC is a little bit below that. So your POC is now going to be acting as resistance. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Let's put that 382 on the chart. Your POC, now that we lost it with volume in here, it's going to be acting as resistance. And if we do reject from that POC, then we expect to move down to the value area low. Come on, load up here. You can also see your POC is going to be where your VWAP is. And in an intraday trend, if you are in a downtrend for the day, you lose VWAP, back test it, you expect to make new lows. So even if we do something like this and we reject here, you would expect to take out these lows. And we would want to see this low volume grindy structure to the upside. Maybe some bearish CVD divergences between those lows. Okay, let me check the chat. Sorry, guys. I didn't even finish reading everyone's comments. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you guys are having a good Thursday. I hope you guys have a good holiday weekend. And if you're a father, happy Father's Day to you as well. Let's see. Where was I at in the chat? All right, Jose, yep, and then Rudamouth, okay. Hello, Divine Hood. Now that we are expecting a fifth wave in the 4-hour and also a fifth wave in a weekly time frame, the weekly fifth also is going to have 5 waves after the final move of the fifth wave. No, so like, okay, I think I understand what you're saying. We're looking for on the daily time frame, from the all-time high, we're looking for that larger. Now, I'm not looking at this as an impulse anymore, as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? I'm not looking at it like that anymore, because we had some overlap between the lows here of 3 and the lows of 1 and the highs of 4. We cannot count that as a valid impulse anymore because there was overlap. That's a hard no. But what I've been looking at now on the daily time frame is that bigger ABC structure. And sorry, guys, I gotta hide some of my pitchforks. I like to turn them all on at once to see what kind of confluence we have. Let me get rid of this channel for a second. Rid of this. What I've been looking at is a larger WXY correction. Right? We have our 3-wave move in a W. You have your 3-wave move in an X. And I understand that this is a lot longer, but you do have your 3-wave move in a Y where you could come down in this Y wave. But either way, what we want to be concentrating on most off is clearly this is impulsive to the downside. So what we need to be concentrating on most of all is whether this impulse to the downside is complete or not. And that is what I have on the Coinbase chart labeled. We have a couple 1-2s in here. Actually, I labeled it as all of this being a wave 1 to the downside. We have a very shallow wave 2 that did hit the 382 Fibonacci. We had our clear wave 3 dumping to 59K. And right now we've been expecting that 4th wave before seeing a 5th wave in here. But I think what you're asking is, we're looking for an impulse down here, a 5-wave move down, or a multiple 1-2 move down. It looks like we're in a multiple 1-2 to the downside. But it will also finish this. The next low will also finish this move down from 83K. So that's why the next low is so important. Because after this impulse finishes to the downside, not only could it finish, it's going to finish this move down. Once we get a 5-wave move, it's going to finish this way move down. It's going to finish this move down from 83, and it also could finish the entire move down, depending on if this is a valid WXY, if the WXY correction is going to play out. So the next macro low for me could really be a very, very nice swing long opportunity. And we know that we have a very strong level of support for that between $57,900 and $56,000, where that anchored VWAP from the bear market lows are coming in. And you can see here, let me go ahead and just hide this parallel channel for a second. And you can see that I have that count labeled on the chart already. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm looking for that last move down here. And then this was our larger zigzag correction as well, rejecting from our pitchfork midline. If we do, by the way, guys, if we drop here in the next couple of weeks, we're going to come down and actually hit the bottom of the pitchfork, which we've been working our way through this pitchfork for the past, 6 months or so. We still have not hit the bottom at 59K. We'd front run that bottom. Yes, I understand we hit it when we hit down here. But if we see that now that we've made a new low below these 60K lows, we still haven't hit the bottom of the pitchfork yet. So coming down to the bottom of that pitchfork, and then if we look at our larger multi-cycle pitchfork, this is our multi-cycle pitchfork from the COVID lows. This entire bull market, it's been highly, highly, highly respected. Every major swing trade, we have not come down in the entire bull market. The entire bull market, the bottom of the pitchfork has not been hit. And you can see that the next low would be around that $57,900, $58,000 low, and it would hit the bottom of the pitchfork. And yes, you might see a little bit of wickage past it, just like we saw some wickage past it down here. But you would look for that daily candle body to close at support of the pitchfork. So I hope that makes sense, Jose. And great question, man. Okay, let's see here. Dream Tanks TV, 32K Bitcoin incoming. Well, it could. 32Ks are the major support level, the most important support level on the entire history of Bitcoin, in my opinion. It's the major support resistance flip between, really, it's closer 34,500 to 32,200. It's that huge support resistance flip, the most important support resistance flip in Bitcoin's history. It's our macro logarithmic golden pocket. And if we're looking at this as a larger Machi HK's count, an A, B, C, then yes, we're looking at that 1.236 being around in that zone as well. And then we would expect this dump, though, would have to continue a lot more aggressive in the coming weeks and months. So we'll see. You know, we'll see here. What I would just say for now is I'm focused more on this local structure to the downside and having this finish so that we can make one more low, and I'll be looking for some decent swing long opportunities that sure I might be looking for a swing long here where we hit, and then I'm looking for a swing long to maybe even break 83K, but maybe we bounce from that 57,900 just to come up and back test the picture work band and reject again. That would still be a good long trade. You would still, that's still a, 5 to 10% move to the upside. If you're using proper position size, that's still considered a decent swing long trade, a $10,000 move on Bitcoin from 57 to 67. Okay. Yeah, bull divs, it just ate that level. Yeah, I mean, there was no reaction really, guys. Earlier today at the naked weekly point of control, we had a nice reaction on the 5-minute chart, but other than that 5-minute chart, we got just eaten alive. And if we look at our order flow here, we actually saw a lot. The bears are in control right now. So on this dump to the downside that we're seeing today, you can see this dump straight through the weekly level and the naked weekly point of control. We had fresh shorts coming in. Our CVD is dropping. That means now what is cumulative volume delta, CVD? It's just simply the aggressive market participants. So market longs and market shorts. And remember, on a day-to-day time frame, the aggressive participants are the one who really moves the markets, not these limit orders that are sitting or these ghost limit orders. It's market orders. So when we're seeing our CVD drop, that means market shorts are coming in. But we need to know if those shorts are positions getting stopped and closed out, or if it's new money that's coming in that's pushing the price down. Because if it's new money coming in, that means it's a healthy, strong move and the bears are in control. And what do we see is we see our open interest increasing in this move. So for the most part, we have the bears are in control, fresh short positions coming in, successfully breaking Bitcoin down from its channel, from that parallel channel that we've been in for the past 3 months. You can see pretty much right at this high, right in there is right when, let me get that vertical line, right at this high here, shorts started coming in and almost all of them are fresh short positions coming in. And then upon the bounce, upon the low that we're seeing today, you can see that you're seeing some long step in, but it's really just shorts taking profit at the golden pocket because your open interest is dropping here. So we still haven't seen the bulls step in yet. We haven't seen real strength yet. And that's why we can have a bias right now that this is another corrective move, is because we're seeing our open interest drop here while our CVD is going up. So we are seeing market long step in, but it's short positions closing out. And what is a short position closing out? It's a market buy. That is why we are seeing the CVD go up here. So anyone that's getting really aggressively bullish right now, you gotta look at the data. Look at the data. There's no reason to be aggressively bullish right now. Yes, we are bouncing, and yes, you can still make money on these dead cat bounces. So if you caught that golden pocket, good on you. Make sure to take profit and make sure to protect your position. And you could also leave some open to run just in case it is going to be that bigger low. Okay, let's get back to the chat here. Okay, looks like you guys are watching the races, huh? Not quicker. That's cool. Just buy Link under $7 and you will be rich. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Chainlink. I think Chainlink did finally come down and hit some pretty big support. Let me zoom into the zoom out to the daily chart. We finally hit our large range point of control that goes back to August 2020. So it's like a 6-year long range. We had actually front run that range on the lows in February. And then you can see now, and by the way, guys, look at what Chainlink is doing. You 3-wave corrective move up, then you have the impulse down to take out the lows. Are we about to see now a 3-wave corrective move up to back test the value area low and the pitchfork that we broke down from, and then an impulse down to take out the lows? To me, it's very probable. And then we could start that accumulation in here, right? This is a tap 1 of a bigger accumulation. This could be a tap 2, and then you get, maybe your move up towards the highs of the range, and you kind of get that grindy structure over the past couple of months, this bottoming accumulation formation. And then after this accumulation, you get that tap 3, and then you would get expansion in here. But you're looking for some sort of accumulation to occur over the next months in this range. And it is around your 6-year long range point of control. So yes, about $7 is where I'm really looking for Chainlink. And could we drop a little bit lower? This is the accumulation range value area low at 610. Could we drop down to this accumulation range, this little range in here, the value area low of this range? Yes, we could. But even the point of control of that range, we had a lot of big players accumulating Chainlink at that POC, so they're willing to buy at fair value of the accumulation range. And then you can see there's your value area low there at 610. Very similar, though, to Bitcoin, guys. We're looking for it. We're in a bear market. You're looking for those corrective moves to the upside, followed by impulses down. Now we could be looking on the lower time frames. Corrective move up. What was super important for Chainlink, and I know Time Attack, you're a big fan of Chainlink, we'd lost the pitchfork that had been holding as support over the last few months. This pitchfork, and I know it wasn't perfectly respected, but it was trying to hold. The big rejection was when we came up to the pitchfork band, we rejected and impulsed down, and then you lost it and closed weekly candles below it. So now we're seeing a 3-wave corrective move to back test it, and then we're dumping. And by the way, guys, I told you about the short on Chainlink from $8.43. I actually got into that short position on Chainlink, but I had a TP1, and then I moved my stop loss to break even, and I got stopped out. And I'm so annoyed that that happened, because I could be in really nice money right now on that Chainlink. I think I shorted it once we lost in here, and then on this move to the upside right there, I got stopped out. Okay, let's get back to Bitcoin real quick. What is Biddy doing? Yeah, we're seeing a nice little bounce right now. We're seeing a nice little bounce. One thing I will say is, do we see real good confirmation here? Money flow is still leaving on Market Cypher on the 1 hour. We do not see any bull divs here. Do we see bull divs on NAMI? No, we don't. We are printing a hidden bull div, but that's an invalid. Actually, the hidden bull div was from this, and it gave us that little move up. So no bull divs on NAMI on the 1 hour. Let's go to the 4 hour chart. Do we see any bull divs on Market Cypher? No. Money flow is just crossing into the red. Your money flow looks very bearish. Yes, your momentum wave can bottom out, and you could see a little bit of a move up, but you're not seeing bull divs. And are we seeing bull divs on NAMI? No, we are not. We are not seeing 4 hour bull divs on NAMI. And even if we were, the money flow is so bearish here that the money flow is always going to overpower a single drive of bull divs, that bearish money flow. So I would be expecting a lackluster bounce here, a small bounce, a dead cat bounce to make a lower high before continuing this dump to the downside. Let's also look at our 8 hour, the important 8 hour money flow. Well, we had almost a move up into the green on Market Cypher, but you can see here, once again, it is leaving aggressively on the 8 hour chart. We also topped out on the 8 hour momentum wave at that 67K high. On NAMI, we are not seeing any bull divs locally on the chart here. All of these bull divs played out with this big move to the upside over the past week and a half. We are seeing money flow leave aggressively here. And then if we go to the daily time frame, on the daily time frame, what's really, really scary here is that your money flow is starting to drain out again on Market Cypher. You can see your money flow. And by the way, with this big red candle, once the daily candle closes today, this could be aggressively leaving, but we printed a hidden bearish div on the daily time frame at that 67K high. And remember, a hidden bear div is a continuation pattern. And what we're looking at is a continuation of this market structure down, this bearish market structure down. So you printed a hidden bear div on your wave 4 high on the daily time frame. Makes perfect sense. And that's why, guys, my bias is that we are going to take out the 59K lows. We do not have any major confirmation that this is going to be a macro low, a macro higher low before making another higher high. I mean, to me, I'm going to be looking at, I do think it is important for this daily candle Let's see how this daily candle closes above or below the anchored VWAP. Remember, the two most important things in the market are liquidity and volume. And when you have your trend volume support is pretty much where our daily candle's at right now, right as we're speaking, that is going to be important because if we close above it or at it or above it, we might be able to see at least a little bit more of a move to the upside. But if we close below it, then we could probably expect continuation here in this move down. Let's actually come in onto the 15-minute because I am actually interested in potentially taking a short from this rejection of the 382 and of the anchored VWAP. I'm actually looking to potentially take that short. And guys, please let me know, am I buffering at all? Is the stream doing okay? Because my charts are not loading up properly right now. I feel a little bit of lag. Look at, we're already starting to form some potential bear divs on the 15-minute, higher highs on the price action, lower highs on the momentum waves. If we come up to 63.1, 63.150, I will be looking for that short, and it's going to be a very, let's do this right now. We'll take the scalp short. We'll look at potentially taking this. And by the way, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't give financial advice. But if you're looking at taking this trade, if you come up and you hit the 382, so what I would want to see personally is to make a little bit of a wick above that anchored VWAP. I would want to hit the 382, and then as soon as I start to lose the anchored VWAP, I would look for the short. And then my first TP would just be taking out the daily low. So that's already on that little scalp is a 9-to-1 risk to reward ratio. And then you could leave this open, this little scalp short, because it's got such a good tight stop loss. You could leave this all the way open, not only to this green box, but to your 57,900 box of support. And look at that. That's a 47-to-1 scalp trade. If you know, obviously you would take some of the trade out before you let it go that far, but this trade could pay more than if you shorted 82K. Like let's say you shorted, let's say you even shorted the loss of the POC at 66.8 like I did, right? You shorted this 66.8K 0.8 loss. You put your stop above that high, and then you're bringing it down to there. Even though that is a much larger move, you can see your risk to reward ratio is only 15-to-1. So therefore your position size is going to be a lot smaller than this trade. Even though this is a smaller actual price move to the downside than this, it's a better trade because your stop loss is so tight that you're getting such a good position size. You're able to increase that position size. So trust me, guys, these scalp trades can really turn into something big. I remember when Trump announced the 14-day ceasefire, we were doing a live stream, and I believe it was right in here. We were doing a live stream, and I took a very low time frame 5-minute scalp trade, just like this. And my stop loss was like 0.01% stop loss. And I was looking just to take it up, I believe, to break like 71, 72K. And we ended up pumping like crazy. And I made so much money on that scalp trade because my stop loss was so tight that my position size was able to be so big. And once he announced the ceasefire, we got this big guy. I think it was like right in here, actually, somewhere upon the back test of this pitchfork band. You guys can go back and watch that live stream because I know some of you guys got into that trade with me. All right, so that's kind of what we're looking at here. We'll see if we get it. I want to see some bear divs on the chart as we're coming up there. Divine, are we in a valid head and shoulders pattern on the 8-hour chart for BTC? What would bring us down to, would that bring us down to 60.1 or 60.2, maybe lower? Okay, 8-hour chart. A valid head and shoulders. Well, okay, I think I see what you're saying. You're saying something like this is a left shoulder, this is a head, and then if we continue this down to your neckline, like this is going to be your general neckline, right? And then you could see a bounce from there to come up and then see that left shoulder, head, right shoulder. There's a problem with that theory. And yes, it could still play out, and this would be considered redistribution because you have distribution up here, right? You have distribution, and then you distribute. And then you would have a redistribution and distribute again. But a head and shoulders is a topping reversal pattern. So generally, you're looking for head and shoulders at at the highs of pumps. You're not looking for them at the lows of pumps. You're looking for them at the highs of moves. Hype was a good example of that. Let me just show you Hype real quick. Hype had a pretty good potential head and shoulders. Now, it didn't play out quite, but at the top of a pump, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and then you could have broken it down and continued. Now, we had a nice liquidity grab and did the fake out and came and made new highs. But you're looking for those at the tops of moves. You don't want to be looking for them at the bottom of dumps. Actually, at the bottom of dumps, you want to be looking for inverse head and shoulders, which is left shoulder, head, right shoulder, right? And then you get that market structure change, and then you go up in expansion. So I see what you're saying, but I wouldn't be playing that I wouldn't be playing this head and shoulders based off of just where it's at. We have to remember with pattern trading, it's important to look at where those patterns are forming, because that's how the market makers fake out and ruin pattern traders, retail pattern traders. So just be aware of that. But yes, it could still play out. And yes, that would mean that we're probably going to move down to 60,800, 61,000-ish. Maybe Friday. Happy Friday, everyone. John, what's up, man? Welcome in and happy Friday to you. Happy Thursday, Friday to you as well. Turbo dead this time. We can check Turbo real quick. Turbo USD. I'm just going to go really quickly here, John, because I want to get back to Bitcoin. But yeah, it looks like this was a pretty clear confirmed three-wave corrective move here on Turbo, and you're starting to push down pretty aggressively. We could pull that parallel channel. So from the low to the higher low to your first high. Yeah, you saw a little bit of wickage up here, but you rejected, and you're at the bottom of your channel right now, John. So, and what you really want to see is it's actually bouncing quite nicely from the bottom of this channel. What you would want is you would want to break market structure bullishly, right? So as soon as you start to take out this lower high at 000905, that could be a nice sign that you are going to flip it and make another move to the top of the channel, probably taking out these highs. But you also got to watch for, because look, it's at your channel midline. So you could come up to the midline, reject it, grab liquidity, and then just keep dropping. There's a lot of choppy overlap in here, though. So you could be building up all those 1-2s, and then you could see a dump in the 3. So I would be careful. And it really depends on if Bitcoin dumps too. It looks like you're seeing not some bull divs in here on the 1 hour. Let's go to that important 8-hour time frame, and money flows leaving. Yeah, I would be careful. I would be careful of this little push up here. You could be pushing up here to fill in the imbalance of this last 8-hour candle, and then it could continue the dump. Real quick, guys, I do want to take a second to shout out the partners of the channel. So the main partner of the channel is BYDFI. They are a VPN and KYC free exchange. All you need is an email and a password to sign up. If you do sign up using my affiliate link in the description below, you can get a minimum of 20% discounts on trading fees, and you can actually earn up to 40% discounts on your trading fees if you deposit some large amounts into the exchange. They're offering up to $8,100 in futures trading bonuses. So just by trading on the USDT futures markets, which it doesn't have to be just Bitcoin, it can be Bitcoin or the altcoins, you can earn up to an extra $8,100 paid out in real Bitcoin, real USDT. And in my opinion, if you're trading on futures markets anyways, that's a great incentive to add to your portfolio. Just by the amount of volume you move, you can get those extra rewards, and they'll automatically be distributed to you based off of that trading volume. They're also giving some of the best initial deposit bonuses in the entire industry of any exchange. If you deposit $100, they'll give you a 50% deposit bonus, which most exchanges will only give you $20. They're giving you a 20% deposit bonus up to $1,000 deposit, and they're giving you 10% deposit bonuses up to a $20,000 deposit, which once again is double what most exchanges will do. Most exchanges will give you 10% on $10,000, but they won't give you 10% on $20,000. So if you deposit $20,000, you can supercharge your deposit with an extra $2,000. You do need to KYC level 1 to get these bonuses, but they are available for you. Also, I've partnered with BYDFI to create that Telegram community. All morning in the Telegram community, I've been updating you guys on Bitcoin. I've been updating you guys even on some of the altcoins overnight yesterday. And if you're interested in joining that Telegram community, it is a free community. It's a private community, but it's free. All you have to do is join BYDFI using my affiliate link in the description and deposit a minimum deposit of $100 or more. You can deposit more if you want to get some of the bigger rewards here. But once you've done that, and by the way, that deposit is your money. You're not paying BYDFI. You're not paying it to me. It's your money. You're just depositing it on the exchange in hopes that you will try out the exchange, like it, and stick with it as one of your primary exchanges. So once you've signed up and deposited the minimum amount, you can click the Telegram link in the description of this video. And in that Telegram verify channel, type in /verify and then your BYDFI user ID, and that'll get you into the Telegram. And your user ID is probably going to be a string of letters and numbers for you guys, but it's right next to your little BYDFI character. So /verify your user ID. It'll get you into the Telegram. The second partner of the channel is another non-KYC exchange. It is Blowfin, and Blowfin is offering VIP 1 for 30 days. If you deposit $5, you can get a $10 voucher, and they have some pretty good net deposit bonuses, those initial deposit bonuses, all the way up to if you deposit $10,000, you can get a $1,000 futures bonus. It is a way to support the channel, guys. Using any of these affiliate links is a way to support the channel. It's a way to say thank you. I think it's a win-win because you guys get discounts on trading fees and bonuses, and I also get a small commission on your trading fees as well. I have, but if you don't want to do that, you can also just hit the like button to support the channel, subscribe to the channel, share the videos. That is a good way to support the channel as well. I do have 2 KYC exchanges, MEXC and Bybit. Links are in the description. And then lastly, I have NAMI trading, which is this momentum and money flow indicator at the bottom of your screen here. And I use this to enter and exit trades for confirmations to whether to enter or exit a trade. So as we're coming up to key resistance or down to key support, I'm looking for confirmations on the chart. Here you can see we don't have confirmations, at least not on the 8-hour. But since I've been using NAMI for confirmations to enter trades, my profit margins have gone up significantly because it gets me into the good trades that are more probable to play out, and it keeps me out of the bad trades that are less likely to play out. So if you're interested in purchasing NAMI, I have partnered with them to get you guys 50% off. Just click the affiliate link in the description below, and when you're checking out, type in Divine50 in the discount code promotion box. Okay, shoot, we're coming up to that. Okay, I'm going to see if we can't get a scalp from here, guys. So we hit the 382. We're starting to lose. I want to see this 5-minute candle close below the anchored VWAP. We have about 2 minutes left, but if we close below the anchored VWAP, then I would attempt a short. Now, if we break above the 382, the next level I would be watching is the regular VWAP for that short, because that's where our range point of control is. Let's turn on that range point of control. So far, no short trade because we haven't, we're starting to break above that anchored VWAP. We can do the calculation right now. So if we lose the anchored VWAP, we're going to put our stop and give it a little bit of breathing room above that. It would be as pretty much a 0.2% stop loss. So you could 5x long your entire portfolio. And if you get stopped out, you're only going to lose 1%. And it's going to be about a 7.5 risk to reward ratio. But right now I'm not taking this because we are not seeing the reaction that I want to see. First off, we do have some bear divs on the 5-minute. Let's go to the 15-minute chart. Do we see some bear divs? Not anymore. Those bear divs have now been invalidated on NAMI. So that is a little bit, now I'm not seeing the confirmation I quite want on that 382. So the next level I'd be watching is that POC. Let's see if we can flip that POC to support or to resistance. Okay, and while we're waiting, I'm going to read the chat. I got to get caught up here on the chat. Michael Mitzal, much love to you, man. Welcome in. And Machi HK, welcome in. Love to see the Bear Lord here. Arping, thank you so much for posting those links in the chat for me. I really appreciate that. Yeah, where's Mark with the jokes, man? Yes. Awesome, Aeon. I'm glad that helps a little bit. BTC is pumping. Yes, let's see how this works, how this reacts. I am not shorting yet, but I am looking for shorts. Stream is good. Okay, thank you guys letting me know the stream is good. Is there a reason why you don't have market? Yeah, I turned off the market red dots because it just got in the way of seeing divergences for me. I could turn them back on. I just prefer them not back on. Could we be near the end of wave 1 of C in your Y? Okay, wait, let me see. Let me read that again. Could we be near the end of wave 1? NC for the bigger Y wave. Well, let's go to the Binance chart. And I think what you mean is 4-hour chart. Near the end of wave 1. No, in our C wave, if we're looking at our Y wave being this this here, right? This is our Y wave we're looking at. So could we be near the end of wave 1 within your C wave? And we would be looking at an ABC here. If anything, I would say that, no, I would say we're getting towards the end of wave Y. Because you would account this as the wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And remember, in an ABC, you're looking for an impulse. So after that, you could see a corrective move up, and then you could see another impulse down to finish that last zigzag in the Y wave. Or we could be looking at it as, I think maybe you think that we're doing something like a wave 1 here, a wave 2, and then this is the C wave here. Could we be near the end of this? You wouldn't want this to end until you take out your 59K lows. I think I get the gist of what you're saying. Market Cipher B printed a new red dot today. Yes, not confirmed yet. Remember, it won't confirm till market close today, but yes, it probably is going to print that red dot. The lag I have noticed on TradingView, where the stuff I put in the charts takes time to appear. It's TradingView issue. Yeah, TradingView has been having some issues lately with me too, unfortunately. What do I say about ETH BTC low time frame 3-day? Yeah, I'll check in just a second. I just want to see here if we are going to reject from that anchored VWAP. Now, okay, so now see this, guys. We're starting to reject from that 382. Now, we haven't closed a 5-minute candle below the anchored VWAP. Until we do, I am not shorting this. But we are starting to see a reaction. Starting to. I don't like how we have lack of confirmation here. I don't like that. Let's go to the 1 minute and let's see if we have some 1 minute bear divs. Not on Market Cipher, but we do on NAMI. And then let's go to our order flow. And are we creating... No, not really. I mean, we are seeing some local bearish CVD between this high. See, we're making lower highs on the price action. And we're making, oh, I guess not quite yet. We could be making some bearish CVD soon, but we haven't confirmed it yet. I really want to get back here because I want to look at this. Okay, starting to... Now, I'm going to wait for a 5-minute candle close. So we 1 minute and 37 seconds because that's why it's important. We could hold this on the 5-minute candle close. But if we start to lose that, and of course you're going to have to adjust this to wherever you enter, and then you're going to have to adjust your position size. So right now it's about a 4x. You could 4x long your entire account, and if you get stopped out, you'll only lose 1%. All right, I just want to do some calculations real quick here. Okay, a few more seconds. I'm going to wait for this. But if we do see this, I will attempt to short. Remember, the trend is your friend, and we've been dumping today pretty aggressively. How's our volume look on this push to the upside? Yeah, overall, and here's another thing, guys. Overall volume's decreasing on this move up. Sign of a corrective move. Now, could we come a little bit higher to the POC? Yes. But I like what we're seeing as far as volume goes. I don't like the lack of confirmations we're seeing here. Okay, I am going to enter this trade. It's going to be about a 4x, you know, to be safe. About, you could 4x long your entire account. If you get stopped out, you lose 1%. Guys, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. If you guys decide to follow me here, that's on your own accord. But I am going to take a scalp short here. Just now, a TP1 would be taking out today's daily lows, and I will leave some of this open for much lower. My next TP would be in that green box around 61K to like $60,600. And I'm okay getting stopped out on this because I also had a couple really good wins today on that 66.8 short from earlier in the week. I had a really good short on SUI that was open from last week that finally hit. By the way, guys, SUI, I shorted SUI like, I think it was close to 2 weeks ago now when we were rejecting from this 382. And I was waiting till we came down to grab this liquidity right into your golden pocket. And we finally hit that today. So SUI, very nice little big SFP there. And I took out 75%. I'm still in that short position. I'm looking at this being, by the way, a wave 1, wave 2, 3, and then I want to see a 4. That's why I had that 382 on the chart. This 382, because that's our wave 4 target. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a 5. Or maybe the 3 is going to continue. But I will be looking to add to my short around 75 cents. Okay, we will check some of the altcoins, guys. We will check some of this. I just want to check this trade on Bitcoin real quick and see what's going on here. Mark Dutch, much love to you, man. Welcome in, my friend. Tight 2 fingers, the pinky pink, and the 1 in the stink. That's tight. Evenings to you, Mark Dutch. Much love to you, man. Hope your travels are going well. I think you're still in Italy. But happy travels, man. Hope you're having a good Father's Day or holiday, let's just say. XRP ready for a scalp short. We can look at XRP. We'll look at BCH. I got to look at real quick ETH BTC. Let's go to the ETH BTC chart. Finance, and let's go to the daily time frame. So I think on ETH BTC, yeah, we're in this big descending channel, and you can see this is on the daily time frame going all the way back to August of 2025. We've been in this nice descending channel. We did reject the POC here, so there is a chance we could come all the way down to the value area low, which would grab some serious liquidity down here, meaning that ETH could dump against Bitcoin. But you can see that I have this golden pocket on the chart, and this golden pocket is going to be an important golden pocket. We have a range in here. And if we look at that range, you can see that your POC is pretty much right at that golden pocket at 0.24. So I'm going to be watching for a potential long opportunity from this golden pocket. Right now, currently, it looks like you're seeing a 3-wave corrective move. Look at this, looks impulsive to the downside on the daily time frame. This looks impulsive. This looks corrective. And let's see if we're rejecting from your lower high golden pocket. So we'll pull it from the daily highs to the daily lows, put on that golden pocket. And sure enough, where are you rejecting? Right at that golden pocket. So 3-wave corrective move, rejecting from a lower high golden pocket. If you actually start to reject here, you would expect new lows to be coming in below these lows, meaning you would probably come to this golden pocket. And it might chop for a bit, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. Or it's going to be a more complex correction where you're going to see 3-wave moves, a bunch of 3-wave moves in here. But I mean, I would be expecting to take out that low there. Yeah, so not a good sign that you're rejecting. Well, let me get rid of this. Not a good sign that you're rejecting from that lower high golden pocket after this impulse down, because clearly this looks impulsive. Again, in here, look at this, guys. In here, 3-wave corrective move. I know it's hard to see right there on the daily. Let's go to the 4-hour. So you had a low right here. 3-wave corrective move, and then you get a new low, an impulse with a new low. 3-wave corrective move, where it looks like we're forming a triangle right now, some sort of triangle in here. So, but you have overlap between your highs and your lows. So in the bullish case scenario, you would be building a 1, 2, 1, and a triangle and a 2 here, and then you would look for a 3 to the upside and then some 4 5s. But the fact that you're so close to a macro golden pocket in my opinion, that means that it's more likely that this is a corrective move and that we're about to dump here. You can also look at Bitcoin dominance, because if Bitcoin dominance is pushing up, actually it's dropping a little bit here, but you're coming near your value area low support. You're coming to your value area low support. So Bitcoin dominance could pump from here. You did reject the POC though, and three-wave corrective move. If you lose this low, it's pretty much a confirmed corrective move, and you would expect to take this out. What I would say is it's probably going to be a bounce from this value area low, and I think Bitcoin dominance might continue to just chop within this range that we've been in for months. I mean, yeah, it does. This does look impulsive here from the highs. A 1, 2. Obviously, this is the 3. So we can pull that volume profile, or that, excuse me, Fibonacci retracement from the highs of 3 to the lows of 3. Let's put on our wave 4 targets. All right. I mean, yeah, you're rejecting from your 382 to your 0.5, right around the POC of the range, with a 3-wave corrective move here. Oops. Gosh dang it. There. Okay. 3-wave corrective move. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this might be a 5. You might see a dump on Bitcoin dominance, meaning the altcoins might hold up a little bit better than Bitcoin. Very interesting to me. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. Let me check the next altcoin. Sorry, guys, if I lost Zcash. Yeah, Zcash is Z crashed, right? Yeah, guys, first of all, this an Aeon, by the way, this is a perfect example of a head and shoulders. You were asking about the head and shoulders earlier, right? Perfect example. So we get the giant pump here, right? Giant pump. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or actually you can't start it from here because that's a 3-wave move to the upside. And if you guys remember, I talked about that. This here is a 3-wave move. But if you're looking at some impulsive structure, it ends here. But look at the left shoulder here at the top of a pump. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, or in Wyckoff, you would call this a Model 2 distribution. Tap 1, tap 2, tap 3, and then what happens? Distribution to the downside. Aggressive distribution to the downside. So that is where you look for head and shoulders, at the top of pumps, not at the bottom of pumps. Now, what we did is we front ran. This POC used to be at 245. Or was it a larger POC? Hold on, let me... Okay, you can see also that was your upper range. We came to backtest the value area low of that upper range, and it was also your pitchfork band. So you backtest, and this was a 3-wave corrective move, guys. 3-wave corrective move to backtest your prior range value area low and your pitchfork band, and now we could see a big dump come in here. The one thing I don't like about this is if we look at our trend-based Fibonacci extinction from the lows to the highs to the higher lows, you can see that your 1-to-1 is quite high up there. And if we even look at, let's go to the ABC. If we even look at the minimum target of the 618, it was not tapped. Now, if you exclude the wick, because I had another one at like 5. Oh, that is right. Yeah, I mean, it definitely looks corrective here, the 3-wave corrective move, but this, I have to say, this looks also very choppy and corrective. There's a lot of overlap in here. Let's go to the 1-hour time frame. So look at this. This looks very choppy and overlappy the whole time. So either you're building up a bunch of 1-2s in here right now, and then you're about to dump hard to the downside, which is possible because you can sweep all of that liquidity and then maybe start getting a bunch more chop at the end, right? And you're going to see that big impulse to the downside with a bunch of chop at the end, taking out this low into 245. Or this is going to be a corrective move. And if it is, you want to hold that higher low golden pocket. So if you pull a golden pocket from that low to that high, this is where the golden pocket resides. You need to get above this now. You need to, actually, the fact that we're even closing multiple hourly candles below it is not a good sign. And that you dumped straight through it here. But overall on ZEC, this level down here at 245, it's your macro 786 pulled from the lows to the highs. It's your 786 Fibonacci. This POC used to, before the dump happened, you can see your POC was down there as well. And that's why I had this box where it was. But now the POC has shifted upwards. And it's going to be resting at 362-ish, where you do have a daily level resting there as well. Daily level at 362.25. Actually, that's probably going to be a weekly. No, we're bouncing from a weekly level today. So you can see this was a weekly from last week's candles. And then this is our current week here. But if we zoom now into the daily chart, you can see we hadn't come down to it until just today. So we're bouncing from 441 weekly. But it's not that strong of a bounce, I would say, so far. You need to get back above this golden pocket. You want to start closing. Really, you want to get back above your VWAP. Oh, man. Did I just get stopped out? Are the market makers watching the stream? I just got stopped out on that, guys, and it still might dump. Well, I can always look to re-enter, but I'm not going to do that yet. See, with these scalps, you might get stopped out once or twice. You lose 1 or 2%, but then the one time it does play out, you make, 5, 6, 7%. It's going to offset those losses. Once again, it's all about risk to reward ratio, guys. You can literally lose 70% of your trades and only win 30%. And as long as you're taking a 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio trade or better, you can be profitable all the way when you're losing 70% of your trades. So it's literally about that risk management. And if you're taking like a 5 to 1 or better, you can, this at 20%, you're still going to be profitable. So, man, that sucks. All right, EPTC, we did Zcash. XRP, we can check XRP real quick. XRP USD. Is it ready for a scalp short? Man, okay, so XRP had this triangle. Remember, we were looking for the fake out to grab liquidity for the market maker trap and then the dump. But we came down and we finally hit that value area low. And I showed you guys this before we came down and hit it. I've had this on my chart for months. That value area low is of a very small range in here. And I know on the daily, it doesn't look like the value area low is there, but when you zoom in onto like the 2 or 4 hour and you look at this range, that is where your value area low of that consolidation is. So we're bouncing from that value area low, but we are seeing a 3-wave corrective move. Now, we can't say that this is going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yet now, because we have overlap between the highs of wave 1 and what would have been the lows of wave 4. We have overlap between these highs and these lows. In a bullish case scenario, you could still say that this is going to be a double 1, 2, a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then you would get that big push up. But there's a problem with that. Look at your secondary wave 2, or your secondary wave 1 compared to your primary wave 1. It's a lot longer in time and price, which significantly reduces the probabilities it will play out. You want to see that primary wave 1 and primary wave 2 be longer in time and price than your secondary 1 and 2. So we have a couple things going against the bulls here. Now, if we zoom in on this range, yeah, you're bouncing from POC. It's probably also going to be your golden pocket of the larger move. Yeah, you're at your POC golden pocket. So you're at a pretty nice support level right now. I definitely wouldn't be shorting right now. If anything, you'd want to be longing this. But what I would be watching for is the back test of the value area high. Because now that you've fallen back inside your volume profile, you could see that bounce from POC just to come up to value area high, reject it, and if you reject it, you expect that roll down to value area low. And with that liquidity that's resting down at the value area low, that would be the next zone for a potential scalp long opportunity. Your macro golden pocket is just below us, 90 cents to 84 cents. Not just below us, but I think that XRP might make it down there. If Bitcoin dumps to 57, I think that XRP might make it down to 90. Do we see confirmation to enter a scalp long right now? No bull divs on the 2 hour, 4 hour, no bull divs, and money flow looks relatively crappy. 8 hour, money flow leaving, no bull divs. Now let's go to the 15-minute. Did we see 15-minute bull divs as we were coming down? No, not on Market Cipher. You would have, if you would have taken out this low, you would have seen some bull divs. You have bull divs on NAMI because of the candle bodies, but it's not really proper bull divs. So I would be watching once again for that kind of zigzag corrective move, maybe reject from the VWAP and continue down. And if you break above the VWAP, then you probably most likely are coming up to value area high. Yeah, and your golden pocket's up there too. 188.4 or 118.84, sorry. 118.84, golden pocket, value area high. So you flip VWAP, you're most likely going up there. If you reject from VWAP, you're most likely making a new low. Let's see, BCH. I don't think I've checked BCH in a very long time. But this looks impulsive to me. So let's get rid of this low time frame stuff. By the way, look at that short from that purple box right there. We didn't quite make it. Never mind. Don't look at it. Dang. It does look impulsive, though. Wave 1, wave 2, secondary wave 1, secondary wave 2. This looks like a flat in here. And then clearly this is your third wave. So we can pull our trend-based Fibonacci extinction. Yeah, you're surpassing the 1.618, so definitely now more likely to be in a third wave dump to the downside. We can put some extinctions on that because we're breaking the 1.618, so we can go to the 2 fib time, or fib level, and then you could even put the 2.618 on, but I don't think we're going to make it down there. So, yeah, you're coming down to some support. Actually, that 2.618 might be something to look at because of that liquidity. Oh, that's why. No, never mind. That's too far. But it essentially on BCH, you're waiting for this to slow down. Until this even starts to slow down, you're trying to catch a knife. And it's a third wave. The third wave, now that we know it's expanding past the 1.618, you got to be careful here. I would at least wait till we get to the 2, like this little zone of support in here, the bottom of the pitchfork band around the 2 fib. We could also pull your volume profile of this upper range, and I would even maybe go to, I'm not including this impulse. I'm including it right after the wick, right after that big wick ends, that first red candle over. Yeah, value area lows right around here. So this is your support box coming up. This is where I would look for the wave 3 to end. And then you would be looking, since we got some 1, 2, 1, 2, your big third wave, and then you'd be looking for 4s, 5s, 4, 5, something like that maybe, right? You bounce from the bottom, you come to the top, you grab liquidity, you back test the pitchfork band, and then you come down, and you're looking for those ends. Just like, by the way, this is a perfect, guys, that right there is a perfect primary 1 and primary 2. Primary 1, primary 2, secondary 1 is smaller in time and price, secondary 2 smaller in time and price. That is what you want to see. That is not what we were seeing on the coin we were just looking at. I think that was ZEC or XRP, one of the two. Money flow looks pretty bearish here on the weekly time frame. Daily time frame. Hidden bear div printed at this high. Money flow is still leaving on market cipher. And you have not made, well, you have very slight bull divs forming on the daily from this low. So making another low right into that 2 at 186. Guys, that could be a decent swing long on the weekly, even if it's to bring it from 186 up to like, 217, or maybe even up to that POC around 236. But I would want to come down and make a new low below this low that was made a week or so ago, a couple weeks ago. We can actually set an alert on that. And if in the Telegram, if we're seeing daily bull divs continue on the SFP of that low at 191, I would look for a potential long in a fourth wave. Now, the long would be to come up to 217 to 236, no higher for me. Maybe a little bit higher where your fourth wave targets are, but yeah, but like, look at this on the daily time frame. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 wave corrective move. This you would probably have to count real low time frame in here, but this looks like a flat. You take the liquidity from the highs, then you dump. Yeah, I like this actually a lot. If we come down into this green box with some bull divs, another drive on NAMI, you can see here, if we take out that low, you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drives of bull div and money flow rising on NAMI. So coming down to like 186 to even like 181, man, that could be really, really nice for a decent long there. But yeah, higher time frames, I would expect overall this thing to keep dumping on the weekly time frame. The bounce that you're going to see from here could take you a month to get up to here or here before moving down, and then it could take you another month like that because you're on the weekly time frame. Okay, so let's see here. All right. False Prophet, much love to you, man. How you been? It's good to see you in here, False Prophet. Why is ETH not dumping while USDT taking a light bounce on the 1 hour? Well, let's look at ETH here. And guys, give me just a second. The dog's going crazy. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Why is ETH not dumping? Let's go to the 1 hour. Well, first off, look at, we did hit that 1-to-1 rejection between the 1-to-1 and the 1.236. So we bounced from a major point of control. I'll show you that real quick. On the daily time frame, you can see this is almost a 6-year long range going back, this whole upper price action in here going all the way back to like May of 2021. So 5 years long, bouncing from the POC. But this move up that we've seen over the past 2 weeks looks like a 3-wave corrective move. We hit into the 1-to-1, and now we're starting to dump here. So overall, we might be seeing a move down to the value area low of the range, which is just below us. That could give us our last low here. As far as our dump in the past day or two, actually, I don't even like how that looks. This looks very choppy right now in here, but you're bouncing from the bottom of the pitchfork. That's pretty much why. Your pitchfork is very strong support, and you made it back inside the pitchfork. You can see it was acting as resistance, kind of made it back in, and that's when you saw that big move up. Let's pull this volume profile to current price action. And let's look at, it's probably a local golden pocket as well. Just below it. Yeah, it's around your golden pocket. It's around your point of control. And if we look at the volume profile of this sideways range, yeah, point of control, golden pocket, pitchfork. We're at big support. That's why we're seeing a bounce here. It's a pretty big support within the last 3 weeks or so. But once again, we're coming up to VWAP. If you're going to reject this VWAP, you're probably going to roll over. I haven't quite come up to it yet. But if you see a move up to VWAP here and you reject, you would expect to roll over. Now, this is only 5-minute price action, a 5-minute time frame, and I don't really like to look at the 5-minute for Elliott waves, but I do see a pretty nice impulsive structure in here. 1, 2, 1, 2. Here's your big third wave. So maybe we're going to get a pullback, a 4, 5, and a 4, 5, something like that, right, to end it. And that even might bring you up to value area high around 1740. But I think that's, yeah, 1740-ish. After rejecting from the 1-to-1, on a look out of your value area high with a nice spike in volume. You can see this nice big spike in volume here. And after, oops, I hid the wrong one. Sorry, guys. Let me hide that one. After breaking out of the value area high, you came up to major resistance. You rejected. You tried to bounce from the bullish backtest. 1, 2. You made a lower high. And then today we fell back inside. So the fact that we're falling back inside on a high amount of volume means we're finding reacceptance back within this range. Yes, you are seeing a nice bounce from the POC. If you can close your daily candle, if this can continue and you can close above 1740, you're probably going to sweep all of this because this looks very choppy and corrective to me. But if you don't, and actually we can pull, I would pull a channel from that high to that high, down to that low. Yeah, and you're at your channel midline. That's why we're seeing a little bit of a resistance here. But if you don't close your daily candle above the value area high or at the value area high, you're probably going to see this rotation all the way back down to the value area low where you have liquidity, but it's probably going to continue even to take out your overall lows eventually because you're falling back inside your volume profile. So oftentimes when you fall back inside, you'll see a bounce from POC, backtest value area high. If you reject, you expect that rotation down to value area low. You have liquidity resting right down here at value area low, so you might see a bounce from that, and then you would just expect to continue until you take that out, that low out at what is that, 1500-ish. The thing is, this value area high, by the time we get up there, let's say we do something like this, reject VWAP, kind of grind down over the weekend, and then you move up here, you can see the top of the channel is pretty much going to be where your value area high is. And we could just keep chopping down in this. So we have to be very careful of that rejection of the value area high at 1740. I'm going to set an alert there, actually, because it might be a decent short trade. Okay, let me see what... Oh, French Toaster, much love to you, man. Welcome in. It's good to see you in here. Mystery Matrix, too. Man. No, I don't like what we're seeing here, though. This is not a nice rejection. We're just consolidating a bit here, but it looks like we're going to break up to POC, in my opinion. So I'm not attempting that short again. I got stopped out on it once. Yeah, and around... So you see how that 1.236 is right around the VWAP, and then your POC is right there. So the intraday resistance now is going to be in this zone. 63.4 to 63.5. And think in terms of volume profile again, guys. We were outside of the volume profile. We fell back inside, back tested it, lost the POC. So if you come down up to POC, it could reject, and then you could roll down to value area low, which is where our next box of support is. Is it only me or more people? Can I follow the stream or lagging? Is it still lagging? Okay, geez. According to my stream health on YouTube, we're doing okay, but I started to notice I was lagging a bit on TradingView, so I don't know if that's just TradingView or if that's me. Yeah, tell your brothers to close all the tabs ending in Orn Hub. Mark, yeah, there you go. What SFP indicator do I use? I don't use an indicator. I mark them out myself manually. So like an SFP is just a swing high or a swing low. So what I do is, let's say I want to look at taking this low, right? Because this is liquidity. I just take a horizontal rate. I mark it on the low. I use the magnet tool. I mark it on the low. And then I come here and I set an alert. And I'll say, you know, like SFP long, I'll apply it, I'll create it. And then if we come down and we hit it, it gives me an alert, and I have my phone connected. So it'll give my phone an alert, and then I can look and just take the trade. But I mark it into SFPs. I'm not setting limit orders there, hoping it's going to SFP. Because like earlier today, for instance, on this SFP, you could set an alert there. You're going to get an alert, boom, and then it just goes up, and then you lose the trade, right? Unless you took some profit at the value area high. So yeah, manually with alerts. Risk to reward ratio. So that's a good question though. Who asked that? Poggyman, that's a very good question, but let me explain why. Because I'm looking at scalps, right, to play the trend to the downside, the intraday trend to the downside. So if I'm looking at shorting, if we lose the anchored VWAP, my stop going above the POC would give me a 0.71% risk to reward ratio. But the first TP is just taking out this low, right? Because as soon as you take out that low, technically it is a lower low. You could reverse again. That's only a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Now, for some people, that would be worth it, right? Some people, that would be worth it. Now, I like to generally trade. If I lose here, I'll try to enter here. Because if I enter here and I get that trade and then bring it down, sure, I lost 1% on this scalp short, but when I take this one, if I win it, I'm going to win, 10, 11%. It's going to cover the loss plus much more. And then I would take out only 50% when I take out this low, because I would take out another 25% down here. And then I would ultimately leave some open to come down to 57.9. So I hope that it's because of your risk to reward ratio, to answer your question. And it didn't give me a good enough risk to reward ratio. Yeah, okay, we covered that one. I say long. LTC short paid off really well. Did full port ETH short from 1780 area, gained 10%. I exited earlier on 1725. Well, I understand full port, as long as you're using less than a 1% stop loss, you can full port short your entire portfolio. And if you get stopped out, you're only going to lose 1% or less. So as long as you're using proper risk management, you could 4x short your whole portfolio if you have a 0.25% stop loss. And if you get stopped out, you're only going to lose 1%. Liquidity's at 63.3. Actually, let's check our liquidation heat map. Let's go to our model 2. All right, so locally above us, we do have some liquidity above 65K. So coming up pretty much above these highs. This was the kind of consolidation after the FOMC. So we do have some liquidity resting above these highs at 65. Yeah, see, so 64.8, 65. But let's look at the past 2 weeks of price action. That's pretty much this see that corrective channel right there. And yeah, the best liquidity is obviously below that low, right? At $60,000. 60,600. And what do we have down there, guys? If we look once again, it makes sense that liquidity is going to be below this swing low. Why do you think I have a SFP there? Liquidity is resting right below these lows. And that is where our next box of support is, because it's the value area low. It's our 786. It's our liquidity grab. And there's a naked daily point of control there. Actually, I'll just turn it on to show you guys. Naked daily point of control, 60.6. From a Saturday, by the way. So I actually had a long set at 165.5 on Kalshi for BCH. And it partially filled last week during the dump. Was wild. Price never went below 192 on the chart, but my order still partially filled. Wow. Okay, so you are in profit on that long position then, right? So at least make sure your stop loss is at break even. Well, that's not financial advice. I don't give financial advice, but if that was me, I would make sure that's a guaranteed win. I would probably lock in some profits and move my stop loss to protect. Because yes, sometimes when you see those kind of scam crashes like that on one exchange, but not on the other ones, the overall market does tend to correct down to those levels. Nice. Mark, yeah, Mark, you trade in the style of Frankie Candles, pretty much, right? You volume profile trader with fibs and stuff. Very, very successful. And Frankie's a really, really good trader too. He does really well with that. So I think volume profiles are one of the most important things on the chart as well. Okay, what's WEO? Elliott Wave Oscillator, I think that is. The WEO is an Elliott Wave Oscillator. Yeah. I have that actually in my favorites already. So I learned how to use this at one point, but I was using it for about a week and I didn't like it so much, so I stopped using it, and I would have to refresh on how to use this. But I believe like when it's pegged out, it could be the end of a wave 3 or the end of a move, and then it starts to move up. So you're looking at those indicator, but based off Elliott waves. All right. Oh yeah, Bitcoin. Let's check Bitcoin. We are on Bitcoin. Yeah, it is dang, you guys, that if we actually reject from here, that's gonna be a bummer. But I don't think we are. I think this isn't looking too bad right now for a move up to the POC. 63.4, 63.5. Yes, hype. Hype is awesome. Now, I just was looking at a long position from 67 on hype. Because on hype, I'm looking at a potential impulse in here from that low. We grabbed liquidity from the range lows at 54, and we did front run this golden pocket just barely. Let me double check that. Remember, we're bringing it from this high to this low. And yeah, we did front run that golden pocket. So I was looking at this as a 1, 2, 3. This is a running flat and a 4, and then you have your 5 here. Corrective move in here, and then I'm looking at a 1, 2, 3, and then this potentially coming down to the 0.382 to the 0.5 and a 4, and then one more high and a 5. So I was looking at a long from 67 earlier today. I didn't take it though, guys. And if I was going to long that, my first TP would be the back test of the value area high. Just because you could reject there, right? You could reject at 69. You're falling back inside the volume profile. If you reject here, you're going to continue down. So I don't know where you're in the short from, but you can look at this volume profile of this upper range. You're back inside the value area high, and if you reject, let me just move this over so that it actually we'll delete that now. So you can see we bounced from 67, which was our wave 4 target, coming up to value area high. If you reject this, you're going to continue to roll down. Now, your golden pocket, I don't like necessarily where this golden pocket's at, even though it is kind of a support. It would be a support resistance flip because you can see resistance, resistance, resistance. So if you come down to it, it's also going to be a support now. But I think the 786, I don't even like that because the POC's in the middle of both of those. So unfortunately, that POC is kind of in a bad spot. Now, all of this is old. We have to get rid of this. It's already swept all of this. This was from our last, this green box. And I do not like how we front ran this golden pocket here. What we could be looking at is, you can see that this is impulsive here. We could be looking at a larger flat correction. We took out the highs just barely in your B flat, and then this could be a C wave to come down to take out your A wave lows into that golden pocket. So overall, if you're in a short, coming down to 52 to 51 could be a really, really good short all the way down to 52, 51. What I will do is I'll set an alert on this low, and we could say add alert, and this could be an SFP in a flat. We want to see it SFP into the golden pocket and start to get above it. And I just want to look at our trend-based fib time. Yeah, you even coming down. So this is how long your impulse took. This flat correction, you would probably want to see it at least cross that 1-to-1 or be around that 1-to-1 fib time as it's coming down there. And then you could see another impulse up to new levels. But because we could be looking at the 1, 2, 3, 4, I wanted to at least look at potentially taking long here. I was late. I missed it. I was paying attention to Bitcoin. Short from 75. Nice short. Yeah, that's very nice. Honestly, and not financial advice, Mina. I don't give financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but if I took that short from 75, I would be leaving some of it open all the way down to 52, 51, 52. Now, you can take some partials along the way, right? But that could be super, super nice. If you start to get back above your value area high, I would be a little bit concerned that this impulse is playing out a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then another new high. But in order to truly, like if I was in that short from 75, in order to start getting worried about closing it down, I would want to break market structure. So you'd want to take out that 72.85 level, 72.76, sorry. Because this is, bearish market structure in here, and it could continue. But if you start to see a break in market structure, then you flip that value area high to support, you're probably going to take out these highs. So that's what I would be concerned about. Money flow doesn't look that good on the 1 hour. You're in the red. You don't have any bull divs. Let's go to the 4 hour. Yeah, no bull divs. Money flow is about to cross into the red on market cipher. 8 hour. Nothing good. Nothing good. Crossing into the red on the 8 hour. And the daily. So what's going to be super important today is the daily candle. And you're right at where your important close is. If you're going to close above or below 68.7. Okay, if you're going to close below 68.7, there's a real chance of coming down at least to value area low, but probably to take out your lows at 52. If you close above it, there's a chance that this could continue to the upside. This move from 52 could continue to the upside. So that's personally what I'd be paying attention to. And absolutely, yeah, 52 target. Awesome. C wave. Yep, you're looking at the flat too. A, B flat, C. And then you could continue. I mean, hype has been super bullish, so I wouldn't be surprised. And honestly, if we see Bitcoin dump down to like 57 and a lot of the altcoins crash, I'm going to be looking to scoop up some more hype, because hype, the revenue model on that thing is just nuts. And like, it's just, I think Hyperliquid is going to be one of the big winners of the altcoins in the next few years. I mean, look at what it's taken from the daily active users. It's taken away from Solana. I hate how TradingView does that. Look at, I'm on the 12-minute and it shifts all your volume profiles. 15-minute, you're where you're supposed to be at. Now, actually, this is interesting. On the 15-minute, you can see we're creating some low time frame bear divs between these highs in here on the back test and these, you might wick a little bit above it to hit that VWAP and then come back down. It's too much hype for me. Yeah. Well, Mark, I mean, I know that you are, you don't like a lot of the altcoins, and I understand that completely. I actually don't like a lot of the altcoins either. I think I like Chainlink is obviously a good one that's got real use case. I do think Solana is a good project. Ethereum, honestly, like I am a big fan of BNB as well. Like BNB is one of the coins that made real new all-time highs this cycle. A lot of coins did not make new all-time highs. BNB like doubled its all-time high from last cycle. It went from 680 to 1400. Yeah, doubled it pretty much. A lot of altcoins barely made new all-time highs or didn't at all. Man, you guys, I took that. Remember this weekly at 5:55? I literally had that that alert set for months, and if we came down there and tapped it, I was looking for at least a decent move up. We front ran it just barely. So annoying. That would have at least been a good day trade long position, 10% move. Solana, $28 to $30. Yeah, I mean, we are in that weekly distribution. You can see up here, if you guys want to talk about head and shoulders, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, or it's a tap 1, tap 2, tap 3, and now we are starting to distribute. So could you distribute all the way down to $32, $31 to like 28? You could. That is your major support resistance golden pocket. Support resistance flip and golden pocket. But I'm hoping that 58 will hold. 58's a naked monthly point of control. And you can see we are getting a nice bounce from my box. The box was from 61 to 58, and 61 was a daily level. And you can see we bounced from that daily level. Oh, by the way, on Solana, at the bottom of the channel, you have some nice liquidity into a golden pocket at the bottom of the channel at 67-ish, 67.1 to 67.5. With the liquidity being at 66.92. It's also a nice little support resistance flip. XLM. Wow, XLM's been pumping today. So we bounced from a golden pocket at 18 cents. I don't like how this is a double bottom in here. You can see, let me hide this. Perfect double bottom here. I don't like that. But we came up to your golden pocket. I think I talked about this just the other day. On Tuesday, we talked about potentially coming up to this golden pocket. We do have some bear divs coming into that golden pocket, and this is your previous range value area low. So we need to hold, now that we're starting to get back above this, you can see that big upper range in here. So we have an upper range in here. That's your value area low. And what we need to watch for, because we rejected from the POC of that range, come down, we hit the golden pocket. If you come up here and reject, you would expect this bearish market structure to start. So you're kind of at that big level, but today's daily candle close above or below the previous range value area low is going to be important. Because if you do something like this where you hit it and then close below it, it's just like it pretty much wicked above it, just hit the golden pocket, and then you could see that rollover to take out this double bottom in here. And probably you're going to see an ABC, right? Or even a 5-wave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or even if it's an ABC, A, B, C, and then, something like that. I like that 1.236 at the bottom of your pitchfork with that liquidity down there. Look at that. That liquidity at the 1.236. So this could be ABC 0.236. But we're not even close to getting down there yet. We would have to reject from here, confirm it, and then start to see this thing move down. Would be really nice, though. All right, let me check Bitcoin. Guys, I do got to get going soon. I hope you guys all do have a good weekend with everything. Yeah, Bitcoin is seeing a nice bounce. And here's the thing right now on Bitcoin. It's not really rejecting that anchored VWAP. All right. Don't freeze up on me now. I think we're going to keep pumping here because this, it's finding resistance, but it's not really dumping. This looks more like bullish consolidation before a break up to POC. So I would be watching that VWAP in the POC for a potential short, and I'll let you guys know if I enter that. Other than that, I'm not really looking for too much on Bitcoin as far as, yeah, short, yeah, and that 1.236 is right in there as well. I think I already had that on the chart. But that's where I would be looking around 63.4 to 63.5-ish. And if you break above the POC, remember, there was one bullish case scenario where it's a WXY, a double zigzag. Let me go to the 2 hour to show you guys a little bit better. A double zigzag, 3-wave move followed by the X, or a Y, excuse me, another 3-wave move and a Y. And this could come up to take out your 67 highs. To me, it's not the highest probability, but there is a scenario where you're going to bounce from this golden pocket and take out the 67K highs because it would be a finished double zigzag. So if you long down here, I would at least, and not financial advice, this is what I would do. I would at least leave some of the long open just in case that bullish scenario plays out. And look at, you have a very steep liquidity trail in here. Yeah, but all right, guys, I'm going to get going. I set a bunch of alerts on TradingView, and over the weekend, I am going to be a little bit busy with some Father's Day activities, but over the weekend, if any of those alerts trigger, I'll post about it in the Telegram, and I'll let you guys know if I'm taking any trades. So remember, if you want to get these alerts that I let you guys know, some of these trade setups or what I'm thinking throughout the weekend or when I'm not streaming or making videos, all you have to do is join the Telegram. And in order to join that Telegram, you just have to join BYDFI using my affiliate link in the description. Deposit a minimum deposit of $100 or more. You can deposit more if you want some of the bigger bonuses. Once you've done that, you click on the Telegram link, and in the Telegram verify channel, type in /verify, and then you guys updated best as possible. You guys, happy Father's Day to you all as well, all you fathers out there. Mods, thank you so much for all the hard work you do and just being such a good support for this group and so lively. Mark, the jokes, I love the jokes. Arping, thank you so much for always being on the links that you are always on. And Time Attack, Samuel S., I appreciate you guys as well. I know you guys are helping keep the riffraff out. So I appreciate all of you so much. Thank you guys for your support this weekend, or this, always. And I hope you have a good weekend, and I will see you guys either in the Telegram over the weekend